All right, so this is day 2 of solving equations with variables on both sides. Okay, so Sophia, you emailed me last night, correct? Sophia Phillips,
Yeah.
you emailed me, right?
Yeah.
All right, pay attention to number 1 because this is exactly like the problem you were having issues with, okay?
Well, yeah. Well, I know how to do it. It's like I'd say like -8, and it'd be like the answer's 8, but I'd start with the bigger number, and then I'd start with the smaller number to see. Like I was like it was almost like a pattern: negative, positive, negative, positive. So I was just sticking with the pattern. If I got a negative, I'd make it positive.
Yeah, so here's what happened, okay? When you have a problem like number 1, and you see how all of like the x's on the left side are pretty much like by themselves, there's like no other numbers. Do you see that?
Yeah.
All right, but the x's on the right are bigger. So doing it my way, okay, where I give you like a concrete, like move the smaller variable, okay? So let me show you that, and then I'll show you the other one. So when you move the smaller variable, all right, so I add 2x. These cancel. And then most kids will write 5x plus 10, and then they forget that it's equal to 0. So what happens is when they forget that, they go right here and they divide by 5, and they get x equals 2.
Yeah,
But what
that's
they're
exactly
forgetting is it was equal to 0. So you have to subtract the 10. And that's why your answer was always opposite of what you thought it was.
Thank you.
All right. So here you get -10 equals 5x, and then divide by 5. And that's where your -2 came from. So your answer was -2, but you kept getting 2 last night. So when you do it my way, there's always going to be like a little like, oh, hey, like this is a little different, because math isn't always like 100% concrete, like do it this one way. So the whole objective, Sophia, is to get all of the variables to one side. So I forget who it was yesterday. All right. Yesterday, I believe it might have been Liam, said, all right, just subtract the 3x to get all of my x's to the left. I know I'm going to get a negative number here, but I'm okay with dividing by a negative. So that's how we did that. Now let's review with number 2. So number 2, first thing I need to do is distribute that 1/2. So half of 6 is 3. 1/2 of 4 is 2. So I have 3h minus 2 equals -5h plus 1. So I'm going to go ahead and add 5h to both sides. And I get...
Does it matter which number for the x?
What was that?
Like, can I add 3, or does it have to be 5?
It has to be the 5 if you're going to add. Because do you see how the 5 is -5h?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm adding. If I was going to move the 3, I would have to subtract the 3h. Because I'm trying to undo what's going on with the variable. So that gives me 8h minus 2 equals 1. So I add 2 to both sides. That gives me 8h equals 3. So I divide by 8, and I get h equals 3/8. Now let's go through number 3. Number 3, I have 10k plus 7 equals -3 minus 10k. So I'm going to move this minus 10K. These cancel because they're opposites, and that leaves me with 20K plus 7 equals -3. And now I subtract 7 to get all of my numbers to one side, and I get 20K equals -10. And I'm just doing these out because I'm trying to review for you and get you warmed up to actually do the other part of the lesson. So now I have 20K equals -10, divide by 20, and I have K equals -10 over 20, which is -1/2. All right, Raul and Jamin have saved some money. Raul has saved $640 and Jamin has saved $320. They each begin a new job on the same day and save all of their money. Raul earns $180 per day and Jamin earns $200 per day. In how many days will they have the same amount of money? So what you want to do is we're going to have Raul and Jamin, okay? And that's going to, when are they going to have the same amount? That means equal. So, Mackenzie,
Yeah,
how much money has Raul saved so far?
$640,
How much does he make per day?
180.
So I'm going to write 180D plus 640. Are you okay with that?
Yeah,
All right. Emma,
Yeah,
how much money has Jamin saved so far?
$320.
How much does she make per day?
$200.
Are you okay with that? If I do 200D plus 320?
Yeah.
Now, let's go to Drew. Drew,
Yeah.
how do I solve this?
You would move the 200 to the 180.
Okay. So do you want me to move the 200 or do you want me to move the 180?
By 180. Move the
Okay,
180.
so I'm going to subtract
to the
180.
200.
That gives me, well, these cancel. So 640 equals 20D plus 320. And let's move to Matt. Matt, you there? All right. Let's go to Kanye. No bueno. Angela. Angela, what do I need to move here?
320.
320. So I'm going to subtract 320 from both sides. And that gives me 320 equals 20D. Last but not least, Nate, what do I have to do? Divide.
20.
Do you happen to know what 320 divided by 20 is?
16.
So in 16 days, they will have the same amount of money. All right, so yesterday, I was talking about this, the other two solutions. So far, we've only seen ones that have one solution. That's like x equals a number, A equals a number, H equals a number, T, all of those things equal the number. But infinite solutions is when you get a true statement. Now, what do I mean by a true statement? Okay, basically, no matter what I put in, it will always balance out. For example, if I were to write 2 times the quantity of x plus 3 equals 2x plus 6. Well, how is this a true statement? Well, let's look. If I were to distribute that 2 to try and solve, I would get 2x plus 6 equals 2x plus 6. And I notice that the left is equal to the right. That's true. That's infinite solution. But if you don't believe me, well, I could subtract 2x from both sides, and that leaves me with 6 equals 6. And that is definitely true. So when this occurs, when the left is equal to the right, that's when you get infinite solutions. It's a true statement. So understanding infinite solutions as a true statement, no solution is when you get a false statement. Well, what does that mean? Well, what if I have 3x minus 9 equals 3 times the quantity of x minus 2? Well, if I distribute that 3, I get 3x minus 9 equals 3x minus 6. Well, notice the axes are the same, but the numbers aren't. The left is not equal to the right. So I need to go ahead and do that. I need to figure that out. So here, if I subtract 3x, my x's cancel, but I have negative 9 equals negative 6. And that's false. So there's your false statement. So infinite solution and no solution are essentially when your x's are the same. And it's all going to be dependent on the number after.
Do you guys need me to move?
So let's go with
I'm
A.
out of here at 8:15. Okay.
So let's go with A.
You're taking all this, right? So as I see this go, I'll leave. Thank you.
All right, so let's go with A. All right, so A, we're going to distribute the 3. So we have 15x plus 6 equals 15x. Now, some of you are looking at this and you're like, well, of course that's no solution. I have 15x plus a number, and I just have 15x on the other side. Of course it's not a solution. But let me prove it to you even more neat. If I subtract 15x from both sides, my x's cancel, and I have 6 equals 0. And that's not true. That's false. So that's when I can say it's no solution. But with a problem like B, if I distribute that negative 2, I have negative 8y minus 2 equals negative 8y minus 2. Now, again, some of you are probably saying, like Jordan, well, the left and the right are exactly the same. And you're right, they are. My answer is going to be infinite solutions. But if you don't see that, well, we can go ahead and try and solve it. We can add 8y. And we get, well, those cancel. I have -2, -8y plus 8y. Well, that's 0. They canceled. And I have -2 equals -2. And that's infinite solutions. Uh-oh. All right. So here's what I want you guys to do. I'm going to give you like 5 minutes. I want you to try and do 1, 2, 3, and 4. The directions are determine how many solutions there are. If there is a solution, I want you to find it. If there is no solution, you will state no solution. If there's infinite solutions, you will write infinite solution. What I don't want to see on your paper is one solution. Okay? Never write one solution. If there is one solution, I need you to find that. So go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to go from there. I'll give you guys a hint. There are 2 infinite solutions.
Could you scroll down so we could see the other questions, please?
Oh, you don't have the notes?
No, not on me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not a problem. When you come in next week, I have extra copies and I can give you one.
I have them. I just have them in my other house because we have a.
Yeah, I got you. I can give you an extra copy so you can have one each place if you would like.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. So I know some of you aren't done, but I want to get through it. There's only a couple problems and we have a short class. So first step I want to do here is I want to distribute. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times negative p is negative 4p. And that equals negative 4p plus 4. Now these look very similar, but I'm not sure. So what is my first step here? Well, I want to get all the p's to one side. So I'm going to move this p. So I'm going to add 4p. And I'm making sure I line up everything. So they cancel. I have 4 equals negative 4 plus 4. Well, they cancel. Ah, look at that. The first one. Infinite solutions. Now, in number 2, well, I'm going to distribute that 5/6. So I have 6m minus m equals 5 times 6 is 30, divided by 6 is 5. Could have looked at that as 6 divided by 6 is 1 times 5, but I looked at it that way. 5 times 10 is 50, divided by 6, I don't know what that is off the top of my head. It's probably somewhere like 8.3 or something, but doesn't really matter for this. 6m minus m is 5m. And if you don't see it from here, okay, that it's going to be no solution. I can subtract 5m from both sides. That cancels to give you 0. And I'm left with negative 50 over 6. 0 does not equal 50 over 6. So this is no solution. Any questions on those two? Number 3. Well, let's distribute that negative 7. That's going to be 21n minus 21 equals negative 21 plus 21n. And I know this Kender can see it from here that this, both sides have 21n on it and both sides have negative 21. So I'm confident she can see that it's infinite solutions. And last but not least, this one might be the easiest problem on the page. All right. And Harshan is saying, bro, it's totally no solution. You have negative 3x on both sides. All right. And you have a 5 and an 8. Can't you see that 5 does not equal 8? So it was infinite solution, no solution, infinite solution, no solution. Those were your answers. And that